Hello everyone, I'm Josh Faulkner, a professional wrestler and a stand-up comedian you've never heard of. I've been a professional wrestler in Britain for 15 years. Now, my career hasn't been on trendy internet shows or the big city indies. I came up performing to family crowds, the not so smart to wrestling crowds in theatres, town halls and holiday camps. Plenty of holiday camps. When I say plenty, I mean sometimes 3 shows a day, and sometimes performing to people who didn't even realise that the wrestling was on when they walked into the venue. In today's video, I'll be discussing 3 things holiday camp wrestling teaches you that indie wrestling doesn't. If you like your wrestling and you like a laugh, make sure you drop a thumbs up below this video and subscribe to the channel. Before we jump in, this isn't an indie wrestling is bad video or one to criticize it. It's not that at all. In my opinion, indie wrestling teaches you loads, like how to slap your leg when delivering a strike. I'm joking. Holiday camp wrestling teaches you the things that indie wrestling shows simply don't, and that's purely because the audiences are completely different. If you've never seen holiday camp wrestling before, firstly, let's go to the start and explain what a holiday camp is. A holiday camp is as big a part of British culture as small talk about the weather. Holiday camps are places usually situated by the British coast that provide lodging and entertainment for a domestic holiday. And it's this type of holiday that boomed following the Second World War, just prior to air travel taking off. Yeah, please pardon the pun. In later years, the holiday camp offered a cost-effective competitor to an international vacation. Why go to Faliraki when you can go to Filey? If that description didn't help, you might know a holiday camp by its brand name, with the most popular ones being Pontins, Haven, and the holy grail of them all, and I'm biased when I say that, Butlins. I grew up going on family holidays to Butlins. For a week every July, we'd head down to Bognor Regis, and for me, as a wrestling-obsessed child, the first thing I looked for when flicking through the entertainment guide for the week was the wrestling. The last family holiday I went on to Butlins was in 2008, and I still find it pretty surreal that less than 3 years later, I'd be wrestling in that very same venue. Right, that's enough of my life story, and back to the point of the video. With holiday camp wrestling, in my experience, you could be wrestling any time of the day. I've done shows as early as 10 in the morning and as late as 9 in the evening. And where you'd wrestle. Now, that would depend on the camp. Sometimes you could be outdoors in the car park, but the majority of the time you were inside in a state-of-the-art entertainment complex. Side note, not on the Isle of Sheppey. Sorry, Sheppey. You'll find the crowd at a holiday camp wrestling show to be a blend of kids, parents, grandparents, and, well, as the name suggests, anyone on holiday. And it's very likely in the crowd, the kids there, like I was, massive WWE fans. They know the names of the top superstars and they know the moves, but they don't know you. They haven't specifically come to see you. Wrestling is the name on the marquee, and for every wrestling-crazed kid, there's a parent or guardian with the authority over the agenda of the holiday. And wrestling is just one of the many things competing with swimming pools, arcades, and ice creams. Yum. Indie wrestling, by contrast, is usually a self-selecting crowd. Those that are attending an indie wrestling show are bought a ticket for the names and the matches advertised. And it's the crowd at an indie wrestling show that understand the language. They understand it and they want to like what they're seeing. That's not a criticism. It's just a completely different environment. The first thing wrestling on a holiday camp teaches you is that clarity beats cleverness every time. If the crowd doesn't instantly understand who you are, what you stand for, and why they should care, you've lost them. There are no chants, no polite applause, just people quietly drifting off to do something else and often dragging a child out. The second lesson is brutal, but important. Effort does not equal reaction. You can work your hardest, hit everything perfectly, and still get nothing. Kids don't pretend, parents don't humor you, and the grandparents, well, they will let you know very clearly when they're bored. The third thing you learn is adaptability. When you're wrestling on the camps and something isn't working, you don't just stubbornly push through it. You adjust, you simplify, you change pace. And for whatever reason, if things don't go according to plan, sulking isn't an option. There could be another show to do in a couple of hours, and that ring won't take itself down. Nothing will humble you faster than realizing your perfectly planned match means absolutely nothing to a 7-year-old with a slushie. And once you've learned that, once you've worked in front of people who don't owe you attention, every other crowd feels manageable. Not easier, just honest. And it's those 3 lessons that continue to shape British wrestling and why people wanted to come and still come from all over the world to learn them.